Let's take a brief diversion from the speeches of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I want to talk to you about Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey. I don't know how many of you are familiar with supposed financial guru Dave Ramsey. He likes to kind of take this whole, shucks, I'm just a simple financial guy from the South and I care about ideas and I'm not overtly partisan. Of course, we all know what the politics are of Ramsey as an organization. We know about what the Ramsey policies were around vaccination and COVID, and it's just a very right-wing organization. But put that aside for a second. Dave Ramsey wants us to know that he offered time to both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Trump accepted the interview, whereas Kamala Harris has not. And once you understand that Ramsey is not an unbiased arbiter who just wants to neutrally and subjectively talk about ideas, you kind of understand why Kamala Harris might not be itching to sit down with Dave Ramsey, but they always want to frame it as, they're either scared because I'm going to hold them accountable or whatever. Put that aside for a second. I want you to listen to the claims that Dave Ramsey makes in this video with regard to what's happening in the economy. Every single one of them is wrong, and we're going to go through them. But this is a absolutely critical example of how they manufacture an environment that is itself imaginary to then justify saying, well, here's the right ideas from Trump, or the Harris administration would obviously do the wrong things because as part of the Biden administration, they're doing the wrong things. We will get to that. But just listen to how casually Ramsey slips in a whole bunch of stuff that's just not true. Let's listen.
I had an unusual thing happen. Our team several weeks ago reached out to the Trump organization and reached out to the Harris organization, Vice President Harris, President Donald Trump, and offered the ability to sit down and have a discussion about ideas.
Wow.
Because I'm sick and tired of all the mudslinging. I'd like to talk about ideas because I think ideas are worth fighting over and arguing about. And if you want to sit down and talk about ideas and do a long-form interview, the Harris camp has our request. The last word we got was under review. So not been a yes, not been a no from them. But I flew to New York, and at this time yesterday, I was in Trump Tower interviewing President Donald Trump for an hour. Or for 35 minutes anyway, ended up being. Went a little quicker than we thought it was going to go. So our first question, I'll go ahead and preview it. I just said, okay, Mr. President, we talk to real people every day. Let me tell you what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about a bunch of the stuff you're talking about. The stuff they're concerned about, $7 eggs, $5 gas, 7% interest rates, and house prices going up faster than their wages are going up. This black cloud that's over our economic situation right now. And we can talk about how it got there. We can talk about what you used to do. You can talk about the current administration, but I don't really want to. What I want to talk about is what you're going to do in the first 90 days.
There you go. Now, he just wants to talk about ideas. He's a neutral guy, right? He'll sit down with Harris, he'll sit down with Trump and talk about ideas. It's that simple. What's happening economically? Except he mentions we want to know about $7 eggs, $5 gas, 7% interest rates, and house prices going up faster than wages. Except none of that is true. Everything there is exaggerated. So let's just go through these one by one. He talks about $7 eggs. Now you might say, is that half dozen or a dozen? Are those organic or non-organic? Pasture raised or not? White or brown? What's the deal? Now I'll tell you, anecdotally, I get $7 eggs. I really value those pasture raised eggs, hipster eggs with the orange yolk. I don't want that lame light yellow color. Okay. I pay $7 for eggs. Sometimes it's $6.89. I get these pasture raised eggs. But what I pay for 1 dozen eggs isn't how we measure what eggs cost. And we have metrics for this. We measure the price of eggs as large, white, grade A, dozen, blended average between organic, non-organic, cage-free, free-range, and traditional. Okay? And right now, the St. Louis Fed tracks this. We don't have to go, Tucker went into a store in Fort Worth and the eggs were X. No, as of August 2024, that dozen eggs, the sort of index dozen eggs is $3.20. Dave Ramsey says we want to talk about $7 eggs. So he's overstating the price of eggs by 118%. Is that going to give us a good neutral and objective starting point for figuring out what's going on when you're claiming that eggs as measured cost twice as much? Now, people will write in, no, I was just at Whole Foods and the eggs cost this or that. With all of these things, it's a huge country. We have to agree upon how we are measuring this. You can find $7 dozens of eggs. I buy them every single week or every other week, but that's not how we measure. Okay, then he goes, we've got $5 gas. Is there gas for $5 some places? Yes, there absolutely is. The current national gas price is $3.20. So Dave Ramsey is overstating that by 56%. Again, it doesn't mean prices are high, low, whatever. But as you can see, looking at the chart that we have here, gas prices are at $3.20 and they've come down significantly from where they were at another point in time. He says 7% interest rates on mortgages. Okay, well, we can look that up as well. The current national rate for a 30-year fixed is 6.2. So Ramsey overstates that by 13%. But more importantly, these rates are coming down quite quickly thanks to the federal funds rate being cut. We're expecting 30-year fixed to be in the fives very soon. You can already get 5.5 on adjustable rates or 15-year fixed. And these numbers are coming down. So he overstates them, and they're also very clearly on the way down. Now, finally, he says we need to talk about housing prices going up faster than wages. It's very regional. It depends, well, which real estate market and which employment market. It's more complicated. It's regionally sensitive. But it is absolutely the case that in many regions, without a doubt, home prices have increased faster than wages. The problem is Republicans are against most of the policies that would deal with that, which is building dramatically more housing inventory, raising the minimum wage. Right. Most of the things that would create more parity between home prices and wages, Republicans, to the extent that Trump even knows that these are the proposals, he's against them. And it's yet another way that they distort this entire discussion. So from watching that, it's not a big shock that Kamala Harris isn't itching to sit down with Dave Ramsey. Now, I would still love her to do it. Why not? I say go in and do it. But from a campaign standpoint, it's like, why would you do that when this guy's a completely dishonest arbiter of what's happening in the economy already? So send me your thoughts on Ramsey. Make sure you're subscribed at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. We'll take a very quick break and the program will continue.